Hey, what's good, producer community? It's your boy DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. Welcome to the video and thank you for watching. This is a beat breakdown of a really dope, like West Coast vibe and beat. Man, I definitely can hear like YG on it, Snoop. I can hear Snoop on it, and rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. It has like that West Coast vibe to it, man. And I'm sure the homie Postman, shout out to my homie Postman, I'm sure you're gonna love this one. But definitely has like this riding feel, but also it has like this like an epic vibe going on. Like, I don't know, it just has spirit to it. So anyway, I'm gonna break down all the different sounds. I'm gonna break down what I did mixing wise and any type of choices that I made, and hopefully you get some value out of this video, and you can find just different things you can do to make your own like West Coast vibe and beat. There's different styles of West Coast too, and this is just one of them, so don't think limited. So anyway, let me jump into it. Oh, my bad. If you like to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at DJ Fanatic. That's PHANATIC, or Sounds for Producers on Instagram. So let's jump in. The first sound that I chose, this is what sets the beat usually, is the first melody, and it's usually my first pattern, so this is what inspired it. Check it out. Yo, that is just crazy. I forgot I made that, man. This beat is so popular, it's insane. Because like I was like, yo, why am I getting so many plays? Why are so many people buying it? Because like, I don't know, it was just a spirit in me, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna make a dope West Coast beat. So anyway, these are the chords. You can look at them, whatever. I was just kind of going at it, creating my own stuff. Spend time learning chords, or there's tons of different ways of creating chords. There's different plugins that help you do that, or you can do it from scratch, or you can use helpers in here and choose your key or whatever. You can do the stamp tool. I mean, making music for so long, you kind of find other fast ways of making chords, and I studied chords, and there's different information out there for you to learn chords. So that's what set this beat, man. This first piano part, the sound that I chose was with Contact. I used the Maverick, which I rarely do. I was like, yo, let me find a piano that I like with this melody. So I went through a couple of them, and Maverick came out pretty cool. Maverick has different, like this drop down. See, they have different versions of it, and I used just the basic one because it had like this simplicity that I liked. If you notice, there's a lot of plugins going on. So this is without plugins. This is what it sounds like. Really dry. This is what it sounds like with them. So obviously you can see what I use. The parametric EQ2, I always start with that with every sound. If you notice in my videos, I cut the lows because I didn't want all that mud down there initially. See, what I'm doing is shaping the sound before any plugins. That's important because like you can do all these plugins, like 30 plugins, whatever, and you didn't shape the frequencies first, and you're sending all of that mud or all the unwanted energy into plugins. So that's important. So the next thing I chose is reverb. I kind of basically added some delay, wet level, cut all the low frequency stuff, most of it for reverb, but I already cut it during the EQ, and that gave it its space. And I used the reverser, which is a cool plugin. Basically it reverses based on a certain setting of that instrument. You can set the sync level. It synchronizes the delay with the tempo, and mix level, of course, it adjusts based on how much you want of the sound, and a crossfade. So you can, it even tells you what it is right there. See, so it's a cool plugin. You can get some nice results with it, and I use halftime on top of all that. So that's why it just sounds layered and more unique. Spend time with your sounds to create this type of vibe. Again, before, after. And it's real dark and just like, yo, something happening. So the next thing I chose was this melody over top. Very subtle. Listen. And it's adding to that energy, that suspense, like what's happening, like something going down. So I use Omnisphere for that sound. It's like a pad lead. Let's open that up so I can show you. But it adds to the energy of it. That's a bell sign. So it's actually like a bell pad. That was pretty cool. And I was just looking for something just a little creepy. So the next thing I added, it was like a hit. So check it out. I play it again. It's a bell hit. And bells are typical for trap music, but you can also use them uniquely. I use Expand 2 for that, the tubular bells. Tubular bells are just classic for like dark sounding instrumentals. I also made another melody, so check it out. That melody was very unique. I used the Contact 5 and I believe it's Exhale. Exhale, yep. And this is the sound approaching. And I was like, automatically, I was like, yo, approaching? Let me, I just chose it because of the name of the sound. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But I chose that sound because of the name and it actually worked. So I have approaching, like something's happening, something's coming. I don't know where it's coming from, but something's going to happen. So that whole vibe is going into this beat. So after these 4 elements, and let me show you what I did mixing wise with the bells. I just cut the lows obviously and gave it a little bit of reverb. The lead I didn't do anything to because it's pretty much the way I liked it. And you don't always have to use plugins. Sometimes sounds are exactly what you want. So next I just started like, yo, what kind of vibe I want to go for? Like what rhythm I want with drums. So I'm happy with these 4 elements, and then I started with drums. And pay attention to that type of pattern that I created with those drums. It came out pretty dope. So basically I shaped it with EQ, I cut the lows, and I used Fruity Soft Clipper to give it more punch. It's a type of compression that you can do. So after, and it helps your drums hit harder. It depends on the sound though, you get different results. But basically I load that up. That's usually free in FL Studio. And then you go to, let's see, I use that. And then you go to the wrench tool and also pitch your drums. You can pitch here as well as the piano, what do you call it? A piano roll, my bad. And also I raised the volume level multiplier just a little bit to give it a little punch. And I was happy with how that sounded. Of course, in mastering, I did some extra stuff, but this is the initial stage. And I was pleased with it. So that's the rhythm I chose. And then I started adding some claps. So you notice there's 2 different claps, 6 and 7. So, and notice the volumes here. One's lower and one's higher. Sometimes I mix within the channel rack interchangeably with the mixer rack. So you can do different stuff like that. But I also, if you go to the first clap, if you look into the sound, it's pitched up. And you go to the second snare, it's pitched more and it's shifted off of the grid. So this is like some sound design stuff. Basically you're layering sounds but doing different things to each sound. And also after you do that in the channel rack, I noticed the volumes are different here. And notice also there's different plugins per snare. So it starts getting a little complex, but take it in steps, you'll start mastering everything. So I use reverb for the first snare and also some stereo enhancer, basically making that snare or clap basically louder. Not louder, wider here. And this is without plugins. See, even the pitch is different and the whole vibe is different. So I wanted like a wide clap sound, but then I layered it with the second snare. So that came out dope as well. So here it is again. It reminds me of like classic West Coast, man, because those snares, man, it just the claps, and it has like a snare clap. It came out dope. So the next thing I was like, yo, I'm happy with the patterns, how the rhythm's going. It has this chill vibe to it. It has the suspense. So let me work out a hi-hat pattern. Not a typical straight hi-hat pattern. I went with something a little more intricate. So check it out. And notice it's nothing crazy, man. I could have chose a different sound. That hi-hat's pretty straightforward, and I panned it right a little bit and didn't use any EQ, which is rare for me. But yeah, that it sounds crazy by itself and amateur, but then with the second hi-hat, check it out. See, I like the hi-hats, how they work together, because it's almost like they're dancing together. Like they're on their own journey. You know what I mean? Like they have like this like they're dueling in a way. They're like and the other one's like See what I'm saying? So they're doing two different things, but they work together. And it's like they're dueling. Like, I don't know, the Game of Thrones, remember when the Hound was fighting his brother? I don't know if you're a fan, but yeah, basically that they countered each other. So that's the whole vibe. The next sound, let me play that so I remember what it was. It was a shaker. So here it is. Just to add some more percussion elements, I use the shaker on the end of the beat. So as you can see, that shaker actually added a lot more to the percussion element of it. It filled it out more and also gave it just a little more fire to it, man. Just a little more essence. And I EQ'd that and cut the lows because it was a lower sounding shaker, and I might have pitched it as well. And it's important, pitch your drums, pitch every sound if it doesn't feel right. What is this? This is second hi-hat. Notice I pitched the second hi-hat really low. It's the same hi-hat, but I duplicated it and pitched one really low. That's a little tip right there you can do. So this one, this is the shaker, and I pitched it low here in a time stretching because it's audio. So notice I'm paying attention to every sound. So speaking of that, here is the last sound of the beat. This is the 808, and I did some stuff to it. I'll just play it first. And notice it follows the kick pattern. Come on. See, that is the icing on the cake. That made the beat just, it took it to that level. It took it to the next level and is ready to go. And that was the icing, like I said, like that is the final element. Usually I do 808 last because I want to get the melodies and everything focused first. And that's just, you know, on top. You're just like, yo, that 808 is crazy. And speaking of that, and also you can always copy the kick pattern. That's another tip. Man, I'm dropping something for y'all. You can copy the kick pattern. Just, you know, Control A and then Control C, copy, and then go to your new pattern or whatever and paste into your new pattern. And then highlight all, Alt L, so you elongate the notation of it. Basically, you're copying the same pattern of the kick, but you're putting it in notation. So make sure your 808s are in key of the beat. And then it's a quick way to make a bass line. So you can do some cool stuff that way. So anyway, let me show you what I did plugin wise with that 808. EQ, cut the highs. I use Fruity Fast Distort to give it that buzz. And Fruity Limiter, sidechain to the kick so it cuts through. So let me just show you what it does. All right, so basically this white line here is the kick cutting through the 808. The purple part is what's being compressed when the kick is the transients play. Basically, when the kick plays, it cuts through the 808, so that way the kick is more prevalent throughout the beat, and the 808 doesn't swallow up all that energy. So it's good to sidechain. A quick way to do it is select your kick, right click on the arrow, basically, and then sidechain to this track, which would be this track 11. And once you're in here, you go to compression, move that up one. Usually it's one unless you're doing different stuff. And then you can bring down your threshold. I usually turn knee and ratio all the way up because I don't get that intricate. But then you can want to adjust your release based on the type of sounds. It's a little different per sound that you use, but that's one way to do it within FL Studio. And mastering wise, notice I only did some panning here with the hi-hats. Mastering, I use Neutron 2. Basically, there's different ways to do mastering, but I use the track assistant and then adjust the parameters within each module as suggested. And I try some of the different options here too, like the different styles, balance, warm. I usually use upfront, but I do auto detect for the entire master. And intensity, I usually keep in medium unless I want to try different things and I'll experiment. But that's what I do with isotope mastering. I use Ozone 8 same way. Basically, I have it disengaged for this video because it uses a lot of processing. These are all the modules I used, and I adjust every module that's is suggested, and I add some to my own. I rarely use the presets. I might want to try that sometime, but I'm getting great results building from scratch every time, and it's a lot more creative for me. And I use tonal balance control, just basically to balance the frequencies throughout the beat based on these algorithms. I usually use the bass heavy one because a lot of music is hip hop and rap, R&B and whatnot. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the whole beat. Hopefully you enjoyed, the breakdown, and hopefully you enjoy the beat, but I also want to play it a little bit so you kind of get the idea of it. And hopefully you got some gems. And again, thank you for watching. Let's go. I'm gonna try and play it with mastering on the video. If it starts glitching, I'll have to stop it. Good. My bad. Watch your ears. Hey. Chorus. So you get the idea, man. The beat came out dope. I feel like it could be a little faster, but it has that vibe to it. And I know DJs actually speed up music anyway, but I don't know. A lot of people enjoy it, and I appreciate the love for it. And everyone that hits play. So anyway, again, it's your boy DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. Shout out to the homie Postman. Hopefully you're feeling this beat. I know you're gonna feel this beat. And again, if you like to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at DJ Fanatic, PHANATIC, or Instagram at Sounds for Producers. And again, whatever you start with, like in a beat like this piano melody, spend time on it, man. Try to do different stuff and just be patient because it happens naturally. You know what I mean? All right. Catch you next time. Peace.